So I think they messed up. But I tell you a window that needs to get shut, slammed, locked, key thrown away is this insider trading that our congressmen and congresswomen are allowed to do. I mean, I think it's absolutely disgusting that they're allowed to utilize some information, and make money off of it. Let me see if I can find the post. Right, 2 days ago, the New York Times posted an investigation into politicians trading stocks. They found that 81 Democrats and 101 Republicans filed up to 3,700 trades and $100 million in possible volume. Many had 100% winners, with some perfectly timed. Here is examples of how good they were. First, of those 182 politicians, 90 plus sat on committees that directly oversaw the companies they traded. 49 were Democrats, 44 were Republicans, which is totals 18% of Congress. 25% of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee traded Exxon or CVX. I don't know the actual name. I'm just reading this off right. 33% of the Environment Committee traded oil field services. 8 members of the Armed Services Committee traded defense aerospace stocks. Although Pelosi was not included in the report, let's start with her. 2020 to 2022, total trades 35 plus, dollar volume up to $65,600,000. Possible conflicting trades include Tesla and the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, uh, MSFT, and the $10 billion Army contract. I think that's Microsoft, just not sure. And NVDA and the $50 billion CHIPS Act. Alan Lowenthal, Democrat, California, sits on the Transportation Committee. His wife made some well-timed trades on Boeing. On March 5th, 2020, she sold $30,000 of Boeing shares. One day later, his committee releases damaging findings on the 737 jet. Boeing went on to fall 35% in a week. Again, Lowenthal sits on the National Resources Committee. His wife perfectly played 2 rallies on Sunrun. Bought 30K in 2019, bought 30K at $14.50. February 2020, sold 45,000 at $21. March 2020, bought back in at $9 and sold 78 times as the stock ran to $80. That's a cool 780% return. John Rose, Republican, Tennessee, sits on the Financial Services Committee. He sold shares of Wells Fargo a few months before his committee issued a critical report on the bank. Sold 250K of Wells Fargo at $54.22. Report was published. Wells Fargo tanked 30% a week later to $37. Richard Burr, Republican of North Carolina, is the head of the Intelligence Committee. On February 13th, 2020, him and his family liquidated their entire portfolio and went into Treasury bonds. 1 month later, the SPY had its fastest 30% decline in history. This saved him $300,000 plus in possible losses. There's many more examples. Bob Gibbs traded traded one company stocks while his committee investigated. Roy Blunt traded stocks while serving on a subcommittee overseeing public safety, and it goes on and on and on and on. But here's the problem, right? It's legal. It's legal for them to do that. Where if I have inside information about somewhere where the market's going, I can't act on it. Whether it's inside information from the stock market or even inside information on gambling. If I have true inside information that is not public knowledge, is not available for the public, I can't use it. This is why Calvin really got suspended for a year. Because he can have access to information that is not publicly made available. So the NFL says, hey, as a player, you cannot gamble on this sport. The reason Pete Rose is banned from baseball, because as a manager, he had inside information. He had influence over what would happen in games. So no, you can't bet on this. But for some odd reason, our lawmakers Our lawmakers get to use the information that they have creating laws and utilize that information in the stock market. It's insider trading and it's disgusting. And just because something is legal, that doesn't make it right. And this is one of those things. Like, this is wrong. It's absolutely wrong. It's bull. And I think about this, right? And when we look at the lack of trust that we continue as Americans to have, we have with our government and our elected officials, it's stuff like this, that you choose public service and you get filthy rich off of it. It's one thing to hook up a company, and then after you're no longer in office, you go work on their board, or you get paid these inflated amounts of money to give speeches and all of that stuff. I got that. You launder money through your campaign finance and stuff like that. Yeah. I got that stuff. But like the way they're come on, bro, in the stock market, like, you chose public service, and I think that there is a commitment to the people that you should have. Let me get into some shoulds, not the reality of it, right? That you should have when you take on public service. And maybe when you go into public service, you give up your ability to trade in the stock market the same way that us normal folks can. I understand that people on Wall Street have inside information too, but they work in the damn industry. And there's another conversation that we can have about that, but I'm not focusing on them today. I'm focusing on the politicians. Why? Because the politicians, they are supposed to represent the people, and they're supposed to represent the best interest of the people, because in a country of millions and millions of people, we obviously can't all advocate for ourselves. So we vote for people, and those people are supposed to represent the they're supposed to represent those people in their area. That sounded terrible. They're supposed to represent the values and the ideals of individuals who live in their jurisdiction, right? Well, if you over here just getting filthy rich off of public service, not caring about the people, not giving the people the opportunity to do the same thing that you're doing and advance themselves, well, who do you really care about? You care about yourself. So here's what I propose. I'm not going to just sit here and complain about it and not give you a proposal. I think that if you are on a committee or a subcommittee that is directly involved with a company or the market that they are in, you cannot trade with them. Nobody in your immediate family can trade with them. And if we find investors who are closely tied to you, we will investigate them. Because yeah, you might be telling somebody to go here, go there, and then they give you some kickback in a speaking engagement, right? Or in a fundraiser, right? Yeah, I'm not crazy. And because you are privy to information that we don't have, whether it's through your network or through just things that are getting voted on, you got to have a grace period. There has to be a grace period for where you can divest stocks, where you can buy stocks, or anything that, again, where you have inside information on it. You've got to hold that until it goes public. Until what happens, you can't do anything with that. So once that piece of legislation gets signed, 6 months to a year, then you can touch it. Well, that's unfair. I'm being punished for having information. Well, you chose the route of public service, and with great what I forgot what about great responsibility comes great. I don't know. Anyways, point I'm saying is, if you want to have that job, you want to have that power, you want to be a representative of the people, then you just can't keep exploiting the people. You've got to take that, and there has to be some negatives that come with the job. Sorry, I believe in good and bad with stuff. I don't think that everything we do should always work to our benefit in 100% of the way. No, nah, man, you got to work for this. But the way that this is happening, the way that insider trading is happening inside Congress and it's totally legal, well, why would they make a law that doesn't help them? You know what? We got this information and we all can get rich off of it together. But we're gonna create a law. We're gonna draft legislation to hurt our pockets. Yeah, right. And you wonder why people don't trust you all. Fucking slime balls. I'm really supposed to trust somebody who will take money under the table to ensure that a company is free to do what they want. And then they're gonna invest in that company. And I can't find out what's going on for 3 more months. And then by the time I invest, well, it's no point because I'm getting bent over.